Welcome to the YWCA, Silicon Valley's 31st Annual Tribute to Women Awards. This program recognizes the accomplishments of women executives and acknowledges the companies that employ them. We invite you to sit back and enjoy the program as we highlight each of our 2015 Tribute to Women honorees.
In Silicon Valley, we work in a fast-paced and demanding environment. The companies represented here tonight require executives who are nimble, innovative, and results-oriented, deep subject matter experts in their domain, and role models who contribute at their companies and in their communities. The 2015 YWCA Tribute to Women honorees represent shining examples of the best of Silicon Valley. I congratulate all of the accomplished women being honored tonight, especially Jumana Mawafi and Janet Olson, both from Synopsys. Congratulations.
We were three young women in our last semester in the School of Engineering. We were excited, we had big dreams, and we couldn't wait to start in the real world. The director of the startup company assigned to supervise us in our final year project initially rejected us because we were an all-female team. According to him, women were good at studying, but they lacked reason and logic. We were shocked and angry and disappointed with our first experience in the real world. He eventually was forced to accept us, and we worked tirelessly to complete the project for which we were awarded a prize of excellence. He eventually congratulated us and offered all three of us jobs at his company. 30 years later, we're still very close friends and all pursuing careers in the high-tech industry. Looking back, the words of the supervisor that day may sound outrageous and out of place in 2015, but we all know that women are still very much underrepresented in the field of engineering. We still have a lot of work to do to reverse those trends, and I thank YWCA for its tireless efforts and contribution in this area.
As a young professional woman, I would have really wanted to know that failing is okay and that it's actually guaranteed to happen, just like you would if you're learning how to ice skate. I think it's okay to remember that you can reframe the problem and make sure that you try again. It's also very okay to color outside the lines when you do experience a failure. And I think the most important thing that I would say is to persevere, because you are guaranteed a few falls here. And if you persevere, you will continue to make progress, and that you will learn from these failures, but that it will happen to everyone and that you're not alone. At the end of the day, though, the most important lesson about that is that you are going to fall and you need to get up, dust yourself off, and persevere. And that will make a huge difference in your career if you do that.
I was in a foster home when I was 11 years old. I went to 26 schools in 5 different states. I've been out on my own since I was 15. Nonetheless, I was really smart and I was ambitious, so I enrolled in the local JCC. When I went in to talk to the college counselor to talk about next steps, I saw a UC Berkeley course catalog on his desk, and so I asked him about that. And he looked at me and he just sort of shrugged and he said, "Never mind, you'll never get in there." And I thought to myself, you just watch me. A couple of years later, I was going to Cal, and I made Dean's List more than once. Today, I have an in-house employment law job at Maxim Integrated, and I work with people who I really love. I have a great relationship with a really terrific guy. I have friends who are very dear to me. It's so important to be resilient and never give up and appreciate every day everything that you have.
I was asked to lead our hospital's implementation of the electronic health record project. And a project of that size, of course, has obstacles. I think the biggest obstacle was myself. I doubted my abilities. I'd never led an implementation like that before. And the most empowering thing I learned early on in that project was that if you stay true to your mission, to your purpose, you really can overcome any obstacle. I asked myself and the teams I worked with so many times, very simple question of what is in the best interest of our patients? What's in the best interest of the people we serve? When we got to that answer, then we were able to really move forward and make our decisions.
Well, I'd say an obstacle I overcame probably in my 20s was my shyness. Outside of interacting with family and friends, I was quite shy. It's always a surprise when my students are told that because they don't believe it, but I was. And I realized as I was starting my profession out of college that that wasn't going to work very well for me advancing my career. And so I watched what other people did and realized, I did have a voice. I did have confidence in other circles of using that voice and just needed to do it in my profession as well. It's certainly to have a more rewarding career and also, of course, really be contributing effectively as I should be. So just realizing I needed to do it, practicing, watching others, and I think overcame my shyness.
I think the greatest obstacle that I had to overcome was my fear of public speaking. I was very shy growing up, and this lasted all the way through graduate school. In fact, Laura Haas, who's one of the most distinguished members of my research community, came to the University of Wisconsin on sabbatical while I was a graduate student, specifically to mentor the few number of female graduate students that were there. And I didn't speak to her the entire year because I was terrified that I had nothing interesting to say. Fast forward a few years, she didn't know who I was when I applied for a job. But it ended up working out okay, and she hired me and helped me to work on public speaking to the point where one of the most empowering experiences I had was when another executive called me one day and asked me to join a worldwide call with IBM executives in which she was presenting and I needed to be quiet. I said, okay. So I joined the call, and when it came time for her to present, she announced my presence and told the entire call that I was going to be doing the presentation. Now, I hadn't seen the slides before, and I didn't even know how many there were, but what could I do? I had to present, and it turned out okay. I sounded competent, and I survived, and I think from that point on, I've not been afraid of public speaking.